Hello and welcome back to CCSP certified channel. Today we are completing OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. So if you are already following my channel, I already delivered 3 lecture on OWASP top 10 and 7 vulnerabilities we have covered. Remaining 3 XXE, access control and deserialization will be covered today. So this way we'll cover OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. If you are new to my channel, I would like to remind that I have already covered cryptography and encryption and uses of that to secure cloud, identity access management, cloud characteristics, risk in the cloud, and international laws and standards. This way, I already covered around 80% syllabus, and remaining 20% and important topics I am covering in the topic 6 and lecture 14 of the same is going on. If you are preparing for CCSP, my suggestion is to go through these videos once. And why I started this, so a couple of years before when I cleared the exam, there was not enough documents or content available on the internet, so I decided to prepare this video series. My ambition is to uh, get further faster in your CCSP exam certification. Definitely all 100% syllabus cannot be covered, but I will try to cover high probability exam topics in this video series and difficult exam concept, because soundness of concept is very important to clear any of the IC square exam, especially CCSP. Also, I do cover questions along with the theory, because I understand theory. If you don't cover the questions, you may not able to understand the concept well. So I cover the questions from the official question banks, and also memory based questions I collect from my candidates, and other sources also I refer. And I try to use my 15 years of IT experience, CCSP, CISSP, and other cloud certification learning to make things simple and easy for you. And many candidates ask me whether is it enough. So definitely, in case you are already preparing, you have enough industry knowledge, this will be sufficient. But in case you need comprehensive and effective approach and you need a personal guidance, because this is one-way communication, you have some doubts, you need more focus on some of the topics, your concept are not good in some of the areas, then better you go with the some regular batches, or you can purchase my self-paced training program also. I do conduct classroom teaching and the self-paced training, and where I do conduct 5 doubt classes and video recording and the customized question bank I do provide. So in case you are interested, you write me at the ccspcertified at gmail.com or WhatsApp me on this number. There is no calling facility on this number. So we come to the topic we have already covered in last 4 videos, that OWSP is a non-profit foundation. They publish top 10 vulnerabilities in every 4 years. So in syllabus we have 2027 and 2021, and almost they are same, except few are changed. We have already covered 7 out of this. Remaining 3 we will cover, which is broken access control and XXE, and last one is insecure serializations. It is also available in 2021 version also of the same. So SQL injections, broken authentication. So we have covered broken authentication previously. We were covered broken access control this time. Sensitive data exposure, cross-site scripting we have covered. We'll cover XXE this time. We have covered XXS. So if you are new to these terminologies, my suggestion is to refer my old videos on the same series. So till 7 we have covered in last 3 videos. Now we'll start that insecure deserialization. So what is first, we have to understand what is serialization. So serialization is a process to taking an object and translate into in the plain text. So when you convert an object to the plain text is a serialization. In the reverse of this one, when we convert the plain text to the object. So when we convert this object to the plain text, we can perform encryption or signing and make it simply secure by different ways. And why we require, where we require. So let's say I give you some example like gaming applications. Gaming applications give you rank based on your scores, and if it is a live events, not only your scores, other scores also matters, like Dream 11 or any online competition happening. So in those cases, they need data from the applications to be sent to the server in the object form, and that object contains your score and other details, and that will be compared with the other scores, and then ranks are being published. In those cases, there is a chances that this object can be, or this payload can be impacted. So the insecure deserialization is that when the plain text data of the application is converted to the object and object sent to the server, so server can process the data without checking it. So it might be possible to override the existing variables or define new values which is not allowed in the default application in the deserialization process. So when attacker attach a code or modify the values and send this to the server, server may execute it, and thus remote execution is possible. Also modification of the data or dropping of the database is possible in the deserialization process. So in the example, if you see, this is a, let's say, a end user application. This is actual data which is a, let's say, gaming data that is being sent to the server in this deserialized form, where the plain text is converted to the object, and this object is being again converted to the plain text at the server end, and this is the trusted data flow. In case attacker use the same mechanisms and send the data, and which is being deserialized at the server end without being validations, it can take the action like destroying the data, stealing the data, or remote execution of the data. So this is how the deserialization occurs. And there are some prevention mechanism. Always accept the data from the trusted source, which is definitely is the best way, but sometimes it is not possible. Then other scenarios, do integrity checks or the digital signatures of the data which is being sent, or run the this deserialization program the low privileges environment. So even though any code execution happen, it will be failed, or some logs in case some exception occurs or failure occurred in the deserialization process, and monitor these alerts. So this is a way you can reduce the attacks related to the deserialization. Next one is XXE, and which is XML external entity. So XML is very popular data format used in the SOAP and REST. And we have already covered in the SOAP and REST, and you can see those videos about the XML uses in those protocols, and even some other industry use cases. We have HTML, docx also where XML is being used, and there is a feature associated with one. XML is a XML parser, and that is used to interpret the XML data. When the XML data is being sent to the server, XML application use XML parser to process it, and this is known as a XML processor also. And there is a possibility to do a XML attack, XML external entity attack. In that case, a attacker abuse these features and send a executable file or perform a denial of service attacks and execute a program remotely, or collect some data from the server, or even do some port scanning or the remote code execution using this XXE parser. So how this happens? So like attackers use XXE parser and request for /etc/password file, and the password processes and then may give the output which contain the passwords and the username details on the Linux or Unix operating system. So this way, these attackers can use these vulnerabilities, and this is also one of the part of the top 10 vulnerabilities. And the prevention mechanism is always do a developer trainings about this type of attacks. Also use patch and update, use the latest version, so 1.2 or higher has overcome with these vulnerabilities. Then also disable then XML external entity or DTT processing, which will be used in this XML parsing. Also do a server-side validation, input validation or whitelisting to filter the input data, and then use some SAST or the manual testing to detect the XXE vulnerability in the source code. Now we come to the last, the broken access control, when the access is not provided. So when we have seen the authentication, broken authentication, which is part of the authentication, and there is a authorization which is part of the access control. In case there is not proper authorization, yeah, so let's say I am a authenticated user, I can enter to a building, but if I am not authorized to go to the server room, then it is authorization related issues. If I got access to the server room without being validation, then it is a broken access control related issues. So unauthorized information access, like confidentiality, integrity, and access availability. If we access the unauthorized information, or alter or delete any record or data, or execute a business process outside the user limit, these are the common examples of the broken access control. And there are some prevention mechanism. Definitely one is the applied a access control uniformly across the organization and applications. Then rather than have a user level access, always implement a group level access, so more granular control is possible and manageability also is fine. And also there should be a directory listing disablement on the web server, so user will not able to see your directory structures. There should be a proper recording of the failures in the access control, and there should be notification and alert mechanisms in this case, in case some access control get violated. And there should be rate limiting and control mechanisms should be defined on the APIs and other end to control the broken access control. So this way we have covered the top 10 vulnerabilities, and we'll cover a few questions to understand what type of questions can be asked from this topic. So first one, very easy. What type of attack is the attack against the application that use parser XML input? Parses XML input. So we have seen that when the XML file is being passed and sent to the server, there is a vulnerability XXE, which can be used to send a data to execute something or get the data from the server. So XXE is the answer for this question. Next one, what is deserialization? We have seen the serialization, deserialization. Many people get confused between the plain text to object and object to plain text. So, so when you remember this way, when you send data from your application to the server, this attack is known as a improper deserialization. So data in the application is in plain text, but it need to be sent in the object form to the server. So answer will be deserialization is to convert that object to back into the plain text. Now we move to the next question, which is last question for today. Which of the following is a standard protocol that do not rely on the SAML, SOAP, JSON, and XML? And this type of questions being asked in the exam where they merge 2-3 topics together. So one topic is coming from SOAP and JSON, which is a part of identity access management, which I have already covered extensively in the topic 2. If you are weak in that area, my suggestion is to do watch them, because good number of questions being asked from IM section, around 8 to 10 questions. So that merge 2-3 topics and ask a question, and you have to answer it by eliminating the options. So we'll see one by one. So which of the following is not rely on either SOAP, JSON or XML? So WS Federation, we have covered this. It is a Microsoft proprietor and depend on the SOAP. So option A is eliminated. OpenID Connect and OAuth. These two are depend on the JSON based protocol. These are the JSON based protocol. OpenID is an extension of OAuth where ID token is being added, but both are on the JSON base. So option B and C is eliminated. The last option, OWASP, which is a top 10 vulnerabilities and is a non-profit foundation. You may get confused with the XML in this option, though it has a XML parser and XSS attack mentioned, but it is not a standard rely on this one. And they do confuse you by adding in some extra keyword here. So you may think that XML may be associated with the OWASP, but it's not there. It is a simple standard to provide the top 10 vulnerabilities, nothing to do with the XML. Hence the answer will be option D. So that's for today. I have already covered OWASP. I will cover remaining topic in next videos. But in case I was able to use your time wisely and able to provide some valuable information to you, I request to like and subscribe my video. You may write me on this email ID or message me, WhatsApp me on this number in case you have any doubt or feedback or interested to enroll for my self-paced or the classroom recording program. Thank you. Thanks.